If you haven't already watched the video on sharing access levels, you might want to check that out. In this video, I'm going to show you how to share your document with specific people. If we go up to the top right corner of our page, we have a blue share button, which I'm going to click. And when I do, I get this pop-up. And over on the lower right, I have a link for advanced, and click on that. And I like people to use this approach because when you do, you can always see who has access to your document. By default, most of you should be set to private. Some of you might see your school domain information here. You can change that. Make sure you check out the video on your sharing access levels. You should also be listed as the owner of the document if you were the person who created it, and I can see that I am. And then below that is our invite box. And notice it says enter names or email addresses. So it's going to pull from people that I have in my contacts list, or I can just type in specific email addresses. So I'm going to type in my personal email Gmail account, and I can add multiple people at one time. I don't have to do this individually. I'm going to add Susan. Okay, so I have two people I'm going to give access to, my personal account and Susan Stewart. And notice on the right side, I have a drop-down menu. So I can give people edit access, or I can give them comment access or view. So can edit is they can do anything they want to your document. Can comment means all they can do is leave notes in your margins. And can view is just view only. I'm going to leave this set to can edit. And notice down at the bottom of our page, it has some additional owner settings. If I invite people to be an editor, which I've done for my personal account and for Susan, it says set to can edit, those two accounts would also be able to invite new people to collaborate on this document. If I don't want them to be able to do that, I can check this box. And if I had people that were set for commenters, and I could also disable their options to download, print, and copy just by checking that box. I don't want either of those to happen, so I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to click Save. Then back to my normal invite view. And notice by default, right below my box of where I was adding people, there's a box that's checked that says Notify People via email. You almost always want to keep this checked because when people are in Google Drive, they're not going to get any notification. The only notification that happens arrives in their email box. So if you don't have that turned on, they're not going to know unless you tell them. If you want to add some context to that message, you can click the blue add message link, and you could say something like, I need this tomorrow. And notice you have some options for your notification email. Over here, we can choose to send a copy to yourself. That's good if you need to keep an electronic trail of your communications. Otherwise, uncheck that if you've got enough email in your inbox. And there's another option to paste the item into the email. Never use that. I have never seen that one work out well. People get really confused when their Google document shows up inside of their email and they can't figure out how to edit it. So it's really confusing, especially for people that are new to Google. So there's really no utility in having it embedded in the message. So just leave that unchecked. And again, I'm leaving these undone. And I'm just going to hit send. And when I click send, it says, are you sure? You're sharing with two people that are outside of my Google Apps domain. And that's okay. There are going to be times when you're probably going to be sharing files with people that are outside of your own school's domain, and it's totally fine to do that. It just wants to make sure that you understand that you're doing that. So I'm going to say yes. And now I can see on my share settings who has access to my file. I have myself as the owner, my personal Gmail account, and Susan's account as well. And if I want, I can choose to pull back anyone's privileges. So I can make it so that Susan can comment only and my personal account can only view. And when I'm done, I hit save and then done. And I can go back and look at who has access at any point in time. Same process. Now I'm going to click advanced. I can see who has access, the level of access, and I can change their levels of access at any point in time as well. And if you want to delete someone from your document, just use the X to get rid of them. And that's how you can give access to your document and how you can manage access to your document.